Greetings, friends, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I specialize in using nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your vitality and health and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body, you are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health issue. That's why we're here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 29 years of practicing pharmacy, I've seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes and hypertension and obesity and skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system, it's a regenerating system. It's designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis, and while some folks may call that healing, renewing, regenerating system a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health and nutrition or prescription drugs, we want to hear from you. We welcome your calls on the Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you're dealing with a health challenge, please understand you're not condemned, you're not doomed. The human body is designed to heal and recover. It doesn't take much, folks. Simply removing the bad stuff, putting in the good stuff, that's pretty much all it is. If you're dealing with any health challenge, please let us help you. Let us help you change your life today. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you want to purchase any of the longevity products, either advertised on the program or recommended on the program, or if you want to join the Brightside Ben team, please head over to brightsideben.com. You can sign up right off the website, or you can purchase products right off the website. You can go to my blogs, pharmacistben.com and criticalhealthnews.com, and sign up to join the Brightside Ben team right off the websites there as well. You can check out the blog posts. We update regularly, and you can purchase products right off of pharmacistben.com or criticalhealthnews.com. You can also call the phone team at 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. Also, if you want to purchase any of our Truth Treatment products, including our Retinol 5% gel, make great Christmas presents too, by the way. Retinol 5% gel made with a whole bunch of fat-soluble vitamin C, no preservatives, no fragrances, no waxes, no fillers, no silicone, no oils, no nothing that your skin doesn't use and need. Head over to truthtreatments.com. Check out our other fine products, all formulated by myself. With the Truth, I got to do exactly what I wanted to do because it's my company. I always had partners. I always had business partners. I had to listen to what my business partners said. With the Truth, I got to do everything I wanted to do, which was provide you with the same kind of skin ingredients that I use myself, that I've been using myself. That's why there's no filler in any Truth Treatment products. That's why there's nothing in the products that you don't use or need, because I wasn't using it for me. And I want to give you guys the same opportunity that I had to go to my shelf, to go to my ingredients, and pull out the vitamin C, and pull out the retinol, and pull out the fatty acids for transdermal penetration, and just use them straight. TruthTreatments.com, TruthTreatments.com. We also post blog posts on TruthTreatments.com as well. And you can also friend me at the Truth with Ben Facebook page, or like the Truth with Ben Facebook page. We update those regularly with posts as well. Okay, we are talking fats in the skin, as we've been saying. Fat deficiency, EFAs, fatty vitamins, minerals, selenium and zinc in particular are so important for skin health, and deficiencies are associated with all kinds of skin diseases. By the way, selenium and zinc are particularly relevant when it comes to the fat system of the body and also the skin. You've got to have a healthy fat absorption system. Your body, your intestine, your gallbladder, your liver, your fat, the fat machinery, the fat processing machinery in the digestive tract has to be operating for you to be absorbing your zinc and your selenium, as well as your EFAs and vitamins D, E, A, and K. And not surprisingly, because the skin is a fatty organ, deficiencies in these minerals or malabsorption issues are going to be linked to the skin. Gallbladder problems, food intolerances, food allergens. These are your main causes of skin diseases. deficiencies, problems with absorption, as well as digestive issues around food intolerances and food allergies. And this is true about all skin diseases, even dry skin, even aging skin, brown spots on your skin, acne, but particularly eczema and psoriasis. This is so important to recognize because as ugly, as scary, as unpleasant, as cosmetically unappealing as the plaques of psoriasis can be, it's much more significant. It's much more significant than a cosmetic problem. Eczema and psoriasis are, and all skin diseases really, are systemic. They're internal. They're not topical. I remember back in the 1980s, there used to be a commercial for a product called Tegrin, which is still available, and they may be running the commercials for all I know. Tegrin's a shampoo and a cream. It's marketed for psoriasis and eczema. It had a tagline, "The Heartbreak of Psoriasis." And it became a meme. It became a cliche. And it was a source of amusement for comedians and writers and people who make T-shirts, "The Heartbreak of Psoriasis." But you know what? It's not funny because, as it turns out, the heartbreak of psoriasis is not just a clever slogan. It's true. It's actually literally true. Psoriasis can literally break your heart, or at least make your heart very sick. There's a major link between psoriasis and cardiovascular disease. Psoriasis is a blood disease. Let me say that again. That's so important, you guys. Psoriasis is a blood disease. It's a disease of white blood cells and inflammatory factors which float around in the blood. It's an immune disease / blood disease. Really, all diseases are blood diseases, but psoriasis is super duper related to the blood and the immune system. And it's associated with elevated risks of heart attacks, not to mention other forms of heart disease. If you have psoriasis, you are running higher risks for heart disease. That's really the heartbreak of psoriasis. From the journal Drugs in Dermatology, 2008 article, quote, "Patients with psoriasis have a higher rate of cardiovascular risk factors and other comorbidities compared to patients without psoriasis." Comorbidity is a very important concept. Co meaning together, morbidity meaning diseases. Comorbidities are other diseases that are associated with the one you have. And they're really important to recognize because it shows you how linked everything is. Psoriasis and eczema, and by the way, eczema is like reverse psoriasis. It's the same kind of thing in terms of it involves the immune system, it involves allergens, it involves fats, it involves malabsorption. The same kind of risk factors that are associated with psoriasis are associated with eczema. In this way, they're very similar. Eczema is like anti-psoriasis. It's reverse psoriasis. Psoriasis is when skin cells grow like crazy. They grow really fast, and you get these plaques. Eczema is the opposite. Skin cells don't grow, and you get patches instead of plaques. But they're based in the same kind of chemical or biochemical breakdown or dysfunction. Eczema is reverse psoriasis. Both of these are major, major, major red flags for other health issues, and they need to be addressed at the causal level if you don't want these other health issues. They're not superficial and cosmetic. They're potential indicators of serious problems to come. Comorbidities associated with eczema and psoriasis, associated health issues include heart disease, as we said, asthma, scleroderma, rheumatoid arthritis, other autoimmune diseases, even cancer, are associated long-term with these kinds of health issues. The problem with the way your doctor, your dermatologist treats psoriasis is he's just treating it topically. Or, well, topically has been the traditional way. Now they have these super high-powered ones. Topically, they used to use the most, they still do actually. Tegrin is coal tar, folks. I had a doctor back when I had my compounding pharmacy, when I started my compounding pharmacy. He used to like me to make coal tar products that he was going to sell in his office. Now, coal tar is literally tar. Coal tar. And it's one thing when you're using 1% in a cream. Tegrin, I think, is 2% coal tar. And it's an old-time remedy. But I had to make this stuff, and I would have to cook the tar in my lab. Oh, my God. It was the exact same stuff that's on your highway or on a parking lot. Hang on, I'll finish up when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. Got lines open for you. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Okay, we are back on the bright side. Thank you for joining us, friends. Our number 844-236-6010. And we do have lines open for you. We'll get your calls in the bottom of the hour. If you have psoriasis, if you have eczema, if you have a skin condition, you don't have a skin condition. It's just showing up on the skin. Well, you have a skin condition, but it's not really caused by anything on the skin. Hardly ever is a skin problem caused by something on the skin. Occasionally there's a dermatitis or a rash of some kind. Hardly ever. I get people telling me, oh, I think it's my shampoo that's causing it, or I think it's the hat I'm wearing. I've had people tell me that their acne is caused by hats or by makeup. No. Skin conditions are internal conditions because the skin is the internal part of the body, inside out. The skin is equally internal as your liver, your spleen, or your heart. It just happens to be on the outside. If you have a skin condition, you have an internal condition. This is so important to recognize because if you don't address it, it's going to get worse. And it's not going to get worse necessarily cosmetically. It's going to get worse internally. And these are where these comorbidities or these other diseases come from that are associated with psoriasis and eczema, including cancer, autoimmunity, and heart disease. The big ones, folks. And the topical stuff, and even now with these high-powered so-called biologics that are considered to be treatments, don't work, period. You may get some if you're lucky, you may get some superficial benefits from some of these high-powered ones, but it's incredibly expensive now. But it's not going to take care of the problem. I remember when I started my compounding pharmacy many years ago, I had a doctor I was working with, and he wanted to sell eczema and psoriasis products in his office, and he was really fond of coal tar, and I didn't know, I needed the money, and I was starting my business, so I told him I'd do whatever he wanted, and he wrote me this order for dozens of bottles of coal tar solution, or coal tar cream or lotion, and I had to make it in my lab, and I had to boil the coal tar. Oh my God! Have you ever driven by a highway when they're paving it? That's what it smells like. If you're using a 1 or 2% product, and that's what most coal tar products are, 1 or 2%, because it's so nasty. Tegrin, I think, is 2%. That's one thing. But when you're making it, I hope I don't get cancer from making it. It's majorly carcinogenic, by the way. Yes, the treatment they give you, they don't do it as much anymore, but coal tar is a major cancer-causing substance. And it doesn't work. Now, if you get Humira, you get some of these other high-powered ones, you may get some benefits, but it's not going to make the problem go away. Zithranol is another one. That's one that I just got an email for Zithranol from a journal that I subscribe to called The Dermatologist. Zithranol. 9 out of 10 scalp psoriasis patients would use Zithranol like shampoo again. This is how they market it. They don't say it works, because it doesn't. They tell you 9 out of 10 scalp psoriasis patients would use Zithranol again, and then they show you this before and after picture after 4 weeks, and I can't even see a difference. There's no way this stuff can work. Are you going to tell me that your psoriasis is a coal tar deficiency? This is absurd. And it's still, coal tar solution is still used. It's still used to this day as coal tar creams, lotions, shampoos, etc. are used to this day as a remedy for psoriasis. And here's the thing. Here's the kicker. You don't need the drugs. You don't need the drugs. Yes, it's bad enough that they don't work. It's bad enough that coal tar, anyway, is carcinogenic. But they don't work. This is so important. You don't need the drugs. When it comes to inflammatory and immune diseases, what we need is common sense. That's what this program is about. It's just the common sense ideas. Once you get this, we figure this thing out, I am going to be unnecessary. There's going to be no more Bright Side. I'm going to switch it, and we'll do something else. We'll do some other kind of radio program, because you don't need me. You don't need your doctor. You don't need anybody. It's just common sense. Inflammatory and immune diseases, psoriasis and eczema, are inflammatory and immune diseases. By their very definition, mean that something is getting into the blood that's causing an attack, that's causing a defensive response. Inflammation and immunity are defensive responses. If you hear the word immunity in your disease, or if they're treating you by using an immune suppressant, then you want, automatically, by definition, you want to understand that you're dealing with an attack. Your body is under attack. And when the body's under attack, it doesn't make sense to suppress the defenses. Yet that is the strategy. It's like when a country is under attack, would you tell the army to stand down because we don't want to have any blood and guts? Well, some people may say that, but it's not going to help. You're still going to be attacked. So what do? If you have an inflammatory condition, if you have an immune condition, if there's the word immune or inflammatory is in the disease, like autoimmune disease, or if it's in the remedy, like immune suppressant or anti-inflammatory, all you got to do is a couple things. It's very simple. Remove the offending agent is the most important thing. And when we talk about offending agent, we talk about something getting into the blood. There's only one major way things get into the blood, and that's through the digestive system. Yeah, you could stick it in through your skin, and maybe if you have a burn, or if you're working in a nuclear power plant, or you're living in a mold with a lot of mold, you may have some problems from respiratory issues. But the vast majority, 99% of the stuff that gets into the blood is getting in through the digestive tract. This is just logic. It's not science. It is not biology. You don't need to have a medical degree. You don't need to go to college for 8 years to understand this. You don't even need to be smart. I'm not smart. It's just common sense. If you have inflammation and immunity, you got something in the blood. Stop putting it in the blood. That means food. I'm not a food Nazi here, folks. I eat all kinds of crap. If I'm hungry and you put an apple pie in front of my face, I'll probably eat half of it. It's not about bad or good. We have this idea about food that we're bad people or we're good people, or no, I can't have any, no gluten, I can't have any oats, I can't eat that, that's a bad food. It doesn't work that way. Eat what you want to eat. But if you have a degenerative disease, if you're ill, if you're not feeling good, you have an option. That's all this is about, is options. It's not about us being bad people and feeling guilty for what we're eating. And, we're humans. We're driven to eat certain foods, and we're manipulated that way. Our brains are hardwired to find sugar. Our brains are hardwired to eat certain kinds of spices. Our brains are hardwired to be attracted to certain chemicals that are produced synthetically in laboratories and sold in foods. It's not our faults. But the point is that if we're sick, drugs are not going to help us, and doctors are not going to help us. Doctors are not going to help us. The medical model is a failure when it comes to treating psoriasis and eczema. So all you got to do, we do it ourselves. We do it from the comfort of our own living room. Remove the offending agent. Seal the leaks that are allowing the offending agent to get in. So you remove it, you eliminate it, and then you patch up the gut. Use your Biolumin Nightly Essence. Use gummy substances, mucilaginous jelly substances, algae and noni and aloe and bone soup and cartilage-containing products, mushrooms, and there's herbs like coltsfoot and mallow that have a coating and soothing property on the digestive tract. Make sure you're generously indulging in probiotics and fermented foods, grinding up foods, taking it easy on the digestive system. I know I say this all the time. It's not new. It's the same stuff because the body is generic. Our bodies are all the same. And that means our remedies are going to be generic. And then, of course, you've got nutritional supplementation, fats and fatty vitamins. I wanted to talk about vitamin E. We'll talk a little bit about it when we come back from our break and get to your phone calls as well. 844-236-6010 is our number. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. We'll be back after this. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. Thanks for being here. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time. Got lines open for you at 844-236-6010, 844-236-6010. We'll get you here. We'll get your calls here in a minute. We got lines open, and I'll get to some letters here if we don't get phone calls. Got tons of letters I've been wanting to talk about, wanting to address. So if you've written in, we'll get your letters here. We'll try to get your letters here sometime today, sometime in the next half hour or so. Okay, let's see. So no matter what your health challenge is, seal the leaks, remove the offending agent, make sure you're on a nutritional supplement program, especially around fats and fatty vitamins. We've been talking a lot about vitamin E. I love this stuff. I was just reading an article from the journal Current Reviews. Actually, this is a letter. Why don't we use vitamin E in dermatology? And the guy who writes this letter apparently, what they find when they use vitamin E in dermatology, and this is how doctors think, we give the vitamin E like we give drugs. You have psoriasis, we'll give you vitamin E. Oh, that didn't work. Vitamin E doesn't work. This is how they think. Oh, you have a heart problem? Oh, we'll give you vitamin E. Oh, and you still have the heart problem after being on the vitamin E for 6 months. That means vitamin E doesn't work. This is not how nutrition works. This is not what nutrients are about. You don't assess their value like you assess the value of a drug. And you hear these studies that come out periodically. Oh, we gave calcium to all of these people who had heart attacks, and they still had heart disease. Didn't help. Well, does that mean calcium's not appropriate and calcium's not important because it didn't work as a drug? That's not what nutrition is about. What we talk about in this program in terms of nutrients are essential substances. That means, the word essential means they're like air. You need them like you need air. They're like water. You need them like you need water. If you don't get air, you're going to suffer from a deficiency disease called death. If you don't get water, likewise. And that's what all the essential nutrients are about. If you don't get them, you die. Now, when it comes to nutrients, the good news and the bad news about nutrients is there's a window. With air, you get a 4-minute window. If you don't have enough air for 4 minutes, you're dead. With nutrients, you got a longer window. So you may not be dead, but your blood vessels will be weak if you don't get enough vitamin C. You may not be dead, but you're going to sunburn more readily if you don't get enough omega fats. You may not be dead, but you might not be thinking clearly if you don't have enough B vitamins. See, we're leaving health on the table is what it amounts to because we think, oh, I'm not dead, so I'm okay. That's how we think. I'm not dead, so I'm okay. Well, I'm here to tell you that there's more to life than just not being dead. We could be excited. We could be thriving. We could be powerful. We could be rapid healers. We could be clear thinkers and brilliant thinkers. This is all the stuff that we're leaving on the table because we're happy not being dead. And yes, you'll get enough vitamin C with the RDA or with eating an orange every day or something to not be dead. But your blood vessels won't be extra powerful. They won't be as powerful as they can be. Our blood vessels are capable of being ridiculously powerful. Our muscles are capable of lifting cars. Our brains are capable of functioning without sleep for 24 hours. We can do all kinds of amazing things, but we're leaving health on the table, good health on the table, because we're satisfied with not being dead. So if you have psoriasis, if you have a skin condition, if you have a heart condition, if you have any degenerative disease, please let us help you. I'll tell you how to reverse it, and I'll tell you how to eliminate it, and I'll tell you how to do it without toxing the body out simply by using good nutrition, simply by using the stuff we're supposed to be getting into our system, and it's not getting into the system. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. Rodney in Illinois. What's up, man? How you doing? Good morning.
Hey, Ben. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey,
What's cooking?
I've got two questions.
Okay.
First, my daughter doesn't have a health issue, but she just graduated from the Therapy Institute in Denver.
Oh, okay.
And she's been working in as a in-home health and
nutritionist
assistance.
She's a nutritionist, though. Well, hang on, though, Rodney. She's a nutritionist? Is that?
Yeah,
did I understand?
Master Nutrition Therapist is her title.
That's awesome. Do you know where she went to school by any chance?
In Denver.
Well, there's a few of them.
Yeah.
You don't know which one?
Yeah,
the name?
It's called the Nutrition Therapy Institute in Denver.
Okay.
But
cool.
she's in. She lives around Monument, Colorado.
Okay, I know where that is.
Every time I talk to her about things I learned from you, she goes, "Oh yeah, I know about that."
Okay,
and,
good.
Every once in a while I'll bring something up and she'll check into it. So anyhow, I told her, I said, "Well, I know this pharmacist. I know you're in Boulder, and maybe
I sold my pharmacy. I sold my pharmacy last year though, so I don't have it anymore."
Okay, well. Do you have any connections where she might be able to? Yeah,
tell her. Why don't you have her send me an email, ben@ksco.com, and put her phone number in there.
Okay, great.
And I'll get back to her and I'll talk to her. The Nutrition Therapy Institute, if it's the one that I'm thinking of, it's on York Street. I don't know if you know where it was. It's a nice setup. I actually I used to speak over there many years ago.
Well, I tell you what, her clients just simply adore her. Of course, they're older clients, but they're
good deal. She's probably helping a lot of people. She's probably helping a lot of folks.
Yeah. But I got another question for you, Ben.
Sure.
I gave my brother a canister of Tangy Tangerine.
Okay.
And I told him, it's recommended to sip on it all day long. Well, he's a truck driver.
Okay.
And he doesn't drink enough. And he came down with a kidney stone. And he's convinced that tangy tangerine had something to do with that.
Well, I can't help him with that. Kidneys, again, I don't know if you heard me talking earlier. I was saying how everything's just logical. It's not. You don't need to be a scientist here. What does the kidney do? It filters the blood. It's a spaghetti strainer for the blood.
Yeah.
When the blood gets clogged, which is the only reason why we get sick, is when our blood is dirty and clogged and sticky, the kidney has to filter. Think of a spaghetti strainer that's got to filter out mud out of the spaghetti. Eventually, the spaghetti strainer is going to get clogged. That's what a kidney stone is. It's stuff in the blood. It has nothing to do with Beyond Tangy Tangerine. He definitely needs to drink more water, but it has more to do with processing, particularly minerals, calcium and such. And as we were saying earlier, that's fat metabolism. So what I'd be doing is I'd be focusing on my digestive system, especially around fats. Kidney stones, kidney stones in particular, but also gallstones, any kind of stone formation, mineral stone formation, you want to think about how your body is dealing with minerals. And that means that has to do with the digestive system. And I'd be going with the EFAs and the fatty vitamins and probiotics, all the things we talk about all the time. It's not the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. As far as you said your brother, I think, or your friend.
Yeah, brother.
As far as your brother goes, I never try to convince anybody. That's a fool's errand, to try to talk to anybody who doesn't want to be talked to, or convince anybody that doesn't want to be convinced, or persuade anybody. And never persuade him. If he's open.
Yeah, he was overnight in a hospital.
Okay.
And of course they pumped him up full of fluids, and he said his skin has never looked so young. So he's obviously chronically dehydrated.
I'm sure that'll definitely cause the blood to become thick and coagulated and increase the likelihood of stones. So he needs more BTT, by the way, not less. If he wants help, have him call me or have him write to me and put his phone number there, and I'll call him, and I'm glad to help. But I never help anybody that doesn't want to be helped. And nobody out there should. I get letters from people who say, how do I talk to my mom? How do I talk to my dad? Or how do I talk to my friend? You don't. You mind your own business. When they ask, then you help. If they don't ask, God loves everybody, even people who want to be sick and people who don't want to supplement. By the way, with all due respect, I don't mean to hurt anybody or offend anybody or step on toes here, but I have noticed that there are secret agendas for folks to be sick. Not everybody wants to not be sick. All right. Anything else, my man? You want to hold on? If you want to
that's it.
Okay,
Thanks,
okay, good. We got to take a break. Thanks for your call. Appreciate it. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll be back with more of your phone calls. Hang tight if you're on hold. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. There's actually a condition called psoriatic arthritis. Psoriatic arthritis is a combination of psoriasis and arthritis. Well, now you know why people get psoriatic arthritis. They're the same problem. They're both immune problems. They're both inflammatory problems. They're both blood issues. They're signs of dirty blood. The blood gets dirty from food. Focus on food. Now, you can also do a lot of things with fats and fatty vitamins for psoriasis. Vitamins A and D in particular. And even your dermatologist knows about vitamin D. Isn't that interesting about vitamin D? How would vitamin D work topically for psoriasis? Well, it turns out vitamin D is extremely important for helping skin cells grow correctly. Vitamin D deficiency is very common. And the last thing you want to do if you have psoriasis is stay out of the sun. The best way to get your vitamin D, of course, being the sun. Eating vitamin D is good too, but topically, you can actually apply vitamin D topically and get some benefits along with vitamin A. Vitamin A and D, in fact, topically have been shown to be quite beneficial for folks dealing with psoriasis. Remember, vitamin A and D are no mere nutrients. They are hormones. They're no mere helpers. They're actually initiators. They're actually activators. And vitamin A and D topically has some wonderful, wonderful health benefits. Vitamin A and D, of course, has been traditionally used as a vitamin A and D ointment for diaper rash, and for good reason. Vitamin A and D work together to help accelerate and initiate activity in all cells, in particular skin cells. 844-236-6010 is our number on the bright side. Bob in Colorado. What's going on? Where are you in Colorado, Bob?
I am down by Trinidad.
Oh, you got some snow? We got a blizzard here.
Yeah, we got the snow Saturday.
Oh, you did?
Got, 4 inches, yeah.
Okay.
We're up 8,200 feet. We're up 8,200.
Trinidad is 8,200 feet?
No, well, we're outside in Trinidad. I didn't know
you're
if you
outside.
ever heard of Weston. You ever heard of Weston?
No, I never heard of Weston. What do you do out there? Are you a mountain man?
I'm a disabled police officer, actually.
Okay. Are you from there?
No, actually, originally from outside of Philadelphia, and then met my beautiful wife in Florida, and then we both decided we got to get out of Florida and moved here. So.
Good for you. Well, welcome to Colorado. How can we help you, man, Bob?
Okay, I sent you an email a couple months ago, and I don't get to listen to your show that often.
Okay.
But I've got a serious problem, and you said something before the break, and believe me, I am not calling because this is a joke. I'm calling because I got a serious gut problem.
Okay.
And I just talked to my doctor this morning. He did all these tests. Everything seemed to be just
Forget tests. Forget, you don't need tests. Yeah, everything came out normal, right? But you still have a problem. That's why tests are useless for everybody except the guys who are charging you for the tests. And some of the biggest company, most profit-intensive companies in all of the healthcare field are Quest Diagnostics and testing companies because everybody wants tests. And by the way, malpractice insurance and lawyers and Obamacare, all of this stuff makes doctors freak out and totally paranoid, and they keep ordering tests. But you're the test, Bob. Your gut is bugging you. That's the test. You're positive.
And I also have a hinal hernia, which is just...
It's all related.
To be able to know what to do.
It's all connected.
He's telling me to go get an ultrasound next week because I probably have to get my gallbladder
More tests.
out.
So he says more tests.
Can I please send you my phone number, and can I please talk to you?
Yes, please do. Ben@ksco.com. I'll call you today, Bob. But just so you know, it's don't worry about the test. You're the test. You got to fast right away. For the listeners, Bob needs. Oh, by the way, what's your disability?
My disability is when I got disabled, I snapped my neck on duty. And
are you paralyzed, or you got any kind of? You're not quad or paraplegic or anything like that?
No. I've just had 2 neck operations.
Okay, good. Okay, so you can deal with this. You can deal with this simply. Thanks for your call, Bob. Appreciate it.
I'll give you a call.
I'll call you later. Yeah. Here's the thing. We get these tests, and the doctors say, "Well, your thyroid's normal, but you feel like crap." Well, everything seems to be okay, but you're in pain. We did all the digestive tests, but you got gut problems like this guy, Bob. We're so intimidated by our bodies and by the medical model that we think people outside of us know better than us. And if there's one fundamental message here, it is that we can do this ourselves. And I'm not sitting here telling you that, you just get on a nutritional supplement program and you're done. It's much more than that. Certainly, that is a key element. The Mighty 90 essential nutrients are a key element. They're essential. That means they're like air and water. But it's much more than just getting on a supplement program. It's working on digestion. Listen, I'm as addicted to food as anybody. But we have to assess. If we're sick, we got to start dealing with it. When we want to eat, what we're doing is we're imposing a mental or a emotional phenomena on biology, on our bodies. We're superimposing our desires, our emotions and our feelings and our thoughts on our biology. Our body's saying don't eat. If you got a gut problem, chances are pretty good your digestive tract is saying don't eat, or at least don't eat that food. And then we superimpose our will, we put our will on top of that, and there is a price to pay, and it's as simple as that. Here's the next. If you're like me, and I am a food addict, make no mistake about it, I'm addicted to food. And by that I mean I eat when I'm not hungry. That's how I define a food addiction. If you eat when you're not hungry, or if you eat a food when your body doesn't want you to eat that food, that's a food addiction. And I have it as much as anybody. We're born a certain way. But what I noticed is that many times I want to eat from this little area in the bottom part of my head called my mouth. That's where I want to eat from. There's a little tiny patch of flavor centers that wants to be activated. And a second place where I eat rarely is from my stomach or my belly. Well, what I notice is if I place my attention, if I start to make that distinction between belly eating and mouth eating, it's much easier to resist the food. Now, still, sometimes I'll go for it, but at least you can begin to make this distinction. Do it the next time you're hungry. You think you're hungry. And I say think you're hungry. If you're looking at the menu and you're not sure what you want to eat, you think you're hungry. If it doesn't sound good to you, what does that even tell you? That doesn't sound good. That doesn't look good. It means we're eating from our head. We're eating from our eyes. We're eating from our ears. That's a lot of times we eat from our eyes and our ears. That looks good. That sounds good. And the vast majority of the time we eat, it's going to be from this little tiny patch of flavor center, of flavor sensing molecules called taste buds right on top of our skin. Many of us, including me, are led around by our taste buds. We're slaves to our taste buds. We need that hit. And what's happening there really is nothing more than brain chemistry. We're activating relaxing, pleasurable brain chemistry. And because our lives are so complicated and convoluted, and the messaging we get from the media and from our society and our cultures that we've got to be scared all the time, we've got to be in survival mode over time. For many of us, eating is one split second where we get peace of mind. From the minute you dip the spoon into the soup or the yogurt or the ice cream or whatever you're eating, and then we pull it up to our mouths, that's a minute or that's a second or 2 seconds or 3 seconds of peace of mind that we never get. And then, of course, once the food has left our mouth, we're stressed out again. And so we go back, and we go back, and we go back for those split second, 1 second, 2 seconds of peace of mind that we get from the time it takes the spoon to hit the ice cream and come up to our mouths. And I'm not saying that that's wrong or bad. I'm just saying it's something that maybe we want to explore if we're sick, if we're not feeling as good as we know we're entitled to feel. Deep down inside, we know that we're entitled to feel good. That's what being sick is really about, because we know that we shouldn't be sick. When we're sick, it's really a description of something that shouldn't be happening, and we know it shouldn't be happening. That's why we go to the doctor. We know it's not right. It's not there. We intuitively know that we're supposed to be healthy. We intuitively know we're supposed to be vital and strong. And you know what? We're right. Because we're the descendants of ancestors who recovered. We're the descendants of ancestors who healed. We're the descendants of ancestors who fought cancer and other immune attack. We're the descendants of ancestors that were lean, mean fighting machines. Well, we ain't so lean and mean anymore, that's for sure. So, and a lot of that is simply because of the way we live our lives, of our lifestyle choices, and it most certainly doesn't have anything, zippo, zero, nada, to do with your doctor. How dare somebody doctor us? A doctor, I love that word, to commit a fraud. That's what doctoring means. Go to the, next time you pay your taxes, go to the IRS and say, here's my 1040. They're doctored. Not a good thing, because to doctor is to commit a fraud. And it doesn't matter anyway. I don't want to beat up on the medical model, because we can do it ourselves. That's the bright side. That's the good news. No matter what your health challenge is, folks, you can do it yourself to feel better, and feel better immediately, not long term. Feel better immediately, and over the course of days and weeks and months, maybe even years, to completely reverse whatever your health challenge is. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You've been listening to The Bright Side. Tomorrow we'll talk vitamin E, and I'll tell you about some cool things about vitamin E and the fat system of the body as we continue talking about fats and the skin on The Bright Side. Thanks for listening. Check out my blog, pharmacistben.com, as well as criticalhealthnews.com, and check out our skin health products, truthtreatments.com, especially our retinol 5% gel. Thanks for listening. Have an awesome, wonderful, beautiful, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later, folks. Bye for now.